I'm at the crossroads of the world, Times Square, the perfect place to start something viral. Over the past few years, the word viral has kind of gone viral. We now apply it to everything from COVID to cat videos to car chases, but never to kindness. And I get it. It's not like kindness is taking over the planet. But tonight, I'm going to change that. Tonight, I hope to prove that kindness can go viral. So what would it take to ignite a global wave of kindness? It might shock you. Just one good deed. At least that's my theory.
Do you think a single act of kindness can change the world?
Oh, yes.
I believe it could. I believe it could.
Absolutely.
A hairdresser unlocking hope and pride, one cut at a time.
What if I stuck this in my car and just went and offered haircuts to just anybody who was asking for help?
The thing I crave more than anything when after being homeless for so long, just that closeness of just human contact.
3 wishes.
Let me give you a hug.
A young girl's mission, opening Hartman's.
I love cheese.
I do too.
And now we serve hundreds of nursing homes.
And we're gonna care about each other and we're gonna love everybody, right?
Life lessons from a school bus driver.
He's the father that I always wanted.
A gift of sight before it's too late. Sending ripples around the world.
You received something that was beyond anything that money can buy.
And the ultimate gift, creating loving families.
Is now going to reach hopefully thousands of people.
And that's how it goes viral.
Let me ask you a question. You ever heard of Secret Santa?
I have.
This is to make your Christmas just a little bit brighter.
That one act of kindness is going to mushroom into tens of thousands of acts of kindness.
That's the hope.
I would like just to inspire people.
You know, you could change the world. Have you thought about that?
Yes.
Getting a haircut. It's a rather routine ritual. But for Katie Steller, one haircut, a simple haircut, changed way more than her look.
I'm one of 6, and so my mom honestly cut most of our hair until we started to care.
Mine too. My mom, she was super cheap, and she was not a good hair cutter.
Oh, no, my mom was awful, and I have pictures to prove it. I really never had any desire to do anything with my hair.
That was until Katie was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when she was 11, which took a toll on her body and her hair.
I was so sick that I was losing my hair, I was losing my eyelashes, and I really didn't realize how important it was to me until I was losing it.
So, like any concerned mom, Julie Steller searched for anything that might make Katie feel just a little better.
And she was like, let's get you a haircut appointment. And
With a real haircut.
With a real haircut in a real stylist chair with somebody who actually has their license.
For Katie, it was a life changer.
What she did for me was she sat me down in this chair and talked to me as a person, not an illness. She gave me an experience of being touched by somebody in not a medical setting, and feeling safe and feeling like it was intended to make me feel good.
And this experience stuck with you to this very day?
Absolutely, yeah. And that was the thing that ignited that fire for me.
So Katie not only became a hairstylist, she became a hairstylist with a mission, to make others feel the way her stylist made her feel. She opened a salon and started a movement.
What is the Red Chair Project?
When I opened up my salon here, I always wanted red chairs. That was something I was not gonna compromise on. The opening got prolonged and we had all this equipment in our house, and I remember just looking at the chairs and being like, this is kind of a waste. Like, what if I stuck this in my car and just went and offered haircuts? To just anybody who was asking for help. Because growing up downtown, I saw a lot of people who were struggling and experiencing homelessness.
This was something I had to see for myself.
In there.
So I've done a lot of things in my career, but never anything quite like this.
Really?
And when you find a target, what do you say to them?
I just say, hey, like, my name's Katie. I'm a hairstylist. I drive around giving people haircuts. Would you like a haircut right now? How's it going?
How's the haircut look? Hey, it looks good. What does it mean that somebody cares enough to lay their hands on you?
It means a lot because that's the thing I crave more than anything. When after being homeless for so long and not having a significant other, it's just that closeness of just human contact.
Heather Jacobs was once homeless and the leader of a makeshift homeless community.
When you're homeless, you are at your lowest. You feel at your lowest. She had come up here and asked if we would be interested in getting some free haircuts. And when she came and gave somebody something to look forward to, you know, the smiles on their faces are irreplaceable. They were just amazing.
And throughout Minneapolis, Katie's red chair has inspired more stylists.
You like it?
Yes, I do. With more chairs and more free haircuts.
And this is the exponential growth of kindness.
I've had somebody ask me like, well, do you get kind of threatened when you see people doing it? I'm like, no, competitive kindness, that is my kind of competition right there. Outdo me, I dare you. Like, please.
For some, that touch, that kindness can be life-altering, just as it had been for Katie all those years earlier. And as for that stylist whose kindness toward Katie set all this in motion, her name is Amy White.
You're beautiful.
We tracked her down and brought the two together for the first time since that first haircut.
What do you remember about Katie's visit?
I don't remember doing anything special. I remember her being special.
Were you aware of all that she has done with your inspiration? What you did that day continues to echo.
It was an act of kindness, though. I mean, I'm glad she sees it that way. It was a service.
Maybe the moral is that, you know, an act of kindness doesn't have to be something overt. What matters is you did something extraordinary in her mind.
It's true. Thank you.
So it was definitely something.
I see the joy in you, and
Yeah.
I just think, what a gift Amy gave you all those years ago.
She did. She did. And one that it's one of those things I can never repay, you know, but I can put it forward. How can I use my life to maybe alleviate somebody else's pain, even just for a moment?
A single kindness, still growing dividends. Lots and lots of dividends.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm loving it.
So, could there be a formula for spreading kindness? To find out, we're on the storied and stately campus of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge. MIT is home to some of the greatest minds in math and science, like Professor Peko Hosoi.
So I'm a professor in mechanical engineering. I also have an appointment in mathematics.
I reached out to Professor Hosoi because, well, I got a B- in Algebra 1, and I had a math question that was clearly outside the boundaries of traditional science.
You didn't think I was crazy?
Well, maybe, I mean, maybe a little.
The problem? Can a single act of kindness change the world?
Okay, so suppose I have one act of kindness. So I'm going to draw a little heart for one act of kindness.
Is that the symbol, the math symbol for
That's
kindness?
a math symbol for kindness,
Okay.
is a little heart.
She went on to explain how if people would just pay it forward, do unto others twice the kindness done unto them, a wave of goodwill would start to build.
At the next one I have 4, and you can guess what the next one is going to be.
6. Or 8.
Good guess. Good guess.
Pretty soon this gets up to
Pretty
a
soon
million.
It goes up to 1 million, exactly. The underlying formula is pretty straightforward. So this is something called exponential growth, which we all experience in our bank accounts. This is how interest works, right?
But this seems a little utopian here.
It is-
Everybody's doing 2 acts of kindness?
It is absolutely a little utopian because somebody might do an act of kindness for me on a bad day and I won't do anything.
Right.
Right?
So we're out of luck?
No, exactly. And this is where the interesting mathematics comes in. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into math land, but I promise I will come out again.
Okay. We'll get back to her proof a little later.
There's no thank you that expresses what she did
So what'd you come up with?
to pass on her blessing.
Here in DeWitt, Iowa, we found another story of viral kindness that starts on page 1 of Brittany Berry's family photo album and may one day sweep the nation. Back when Brittany was 20, a little girl named Gracie came into her life. Gracie was the daughter of a relative in a troubled relationship who needed help caring for the baby.
So when they asked me to watch her, for the first time, I said absolutely.
But usually at the end of the babysitting, they go back.
It just started to become more frequent, and then it was days at a time, and then weeks at a time, and then months at a time, and then by the time she was about 7 months old, it was, okay, I'm raising her.
You put your hands above your head.
When Gracie was 4, the court granted Brittany legal guardianship. But as time passed and the family grew, Brittany and Gracie wanted more.
Why wasn't guardianship enough? Why was it important to you that you adopt Gracie?
Because she was my baby. I think that even though I didn't birth her, she still grew in my heart. Maybe not my belly, but she was my baby.
Why didn't you do it?
We didn't have the money.
Adopting a child can be expensive, typically in the tens of thousands, which made it impossible for Brittany. That was until one day she went to a wedding and ran into a distant cousin named Casey Badome.
I couldn't believe that that was the only thing that was keeping them from being able to adopt. And I just said, well, I think I can help with that.
You could help.
Yeah, and if that's all I needed to do was, help write a check, I felt like that was the least that I could do because it was security for the whole family and for Gracie.
So, just last year, thanks to Casey's gift, 11-year-old Gracie's adoption was finally final.
What did it mean to you to receive that act of kindness?
I did not know how to thank her. I spent months trying to write something down or figure out, cheers. Do I get her something? Like, there's no thank you that expresses what she did.
So what'd you come up with?
To pass on her blessing.
And so, with an abundance of donations, Brittany transformed her garage into the Adopted Closet thrift store.
$20.
All proceeds aimed at paying the kindness forward.
So now you've got a plan.
I have a plan.
A secret plan.
A secret plan.
What is it?
I want to pay for the adoptions on National Adoption Day in Scott County. All of the remaining balances.
And that's just what she did. All balances on all adoptions.
Today, I am so thrilled to announce that the Adopted Closet has happily taken the task of covering all of your legal fees and court costs of every one of your adoptions so that you can go home and do what you were called to do. Enjoy and celebrate the gift of family.
We'll be forever grateful for that generosity. The journey through adoption is not a cheap one, so that's a huge, huge bonus.
People don't understand how expensive adoption can be, and we had to wipe out our savings to pay for everything related to this.
Congratulations, girls! You're adopted!
That one gift of kindness that made Brittany's family whole would now do the same for 9 more families. Gracie couldn't be any prouder.
It's great knowing that other people can feel this happiness and feel safe, and have all those mothers out there know that their children are their children.
How cool would this be if this gets super big and this is your legacy, that it all started with your family?
It would be great, and I hope it does. 5, 6, 7.
Adoption has always been priceless. But if Gracie and Brittany have their way, someday it will also literally be priceless. Viral kindness isn't just a current trend. Many of our most famous charities were founded on simple acts of kindness. For example, More than a century ago, a New York City court clerk named Ernest Coulter hated seeing so many boys file into his courtroom. So he came up with a novel idea: give each boy an adult role model. That idea grew into Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is now in all 50 states. I was a big brother myself, several times, in several places, including once in Minnesota.
A little nervous.
I recently went back to see my little brother.
Been a long time.
Who wasn't so little anymore.
What happened to your hair?
I never had much of that.
How you doing? Good. How you doing? Good to see you.
Robert Dunleavy was 10 when I met him. He was living with his mom and 3 sisters, no father figure, and in a tough neighborhood.
Oh, wow. All the challenges that I faced growing up, to have that big brother in my life that I had not had. Steve played the role of another family member.
Much of our time together we spent on a ball field, like this one.
I can't imagine how many times I threw to you, and there was no outfielder, so every ball I threw, and you hit a lot of them, I had to go chase them down. That kept me skinny for many years.
You just wanted to strike out a 9-year-old.
That's right. I wasn't able to, but it would have been nice.
Today, Big Brothers Big Sisters operates in more than a dozen countries. In the past decade alone, adult volunteers have mentored nearly 2 million young people.
For me, the Big Brother program showed me that you can be a good friend, you can be a mentor, and what that influence does is very valuable for the future of that child or that teenager.
Ernest Coulter's simple act of kindness, improving the lives of generations. And as for Robert, he's now married with 2 kids of his own and a good job as a construction project manager.
Well, you turned out just fine, despite your mother's worries.
You know, you helped with that, Steve. You helped a lot with that.
You think so?
I know so. Never would have thought I'd be who I am today.
Okay, don't do that to me.
Let me give you a hug.
So when they see Ruby doing that, I think a light bulb kind of goes off, like, oh, you know, I can do that too. And it's not really that hard.
In a small town in northwest Arkansas, a 15-year-old high school freshman named Ruby Chitsey is making her mark on the cheer team. She's also spreading her own brand of cheer.
Let me give you a hug.
To residents at local nursing homes.
I can connect to them just as much as I do a kid my age, so I don't really see that age difference in them, and I'm just so glad that they're my friends and that I can, you know, talk to them.
But Ruby does much more than chat them up.
Got your shirts.
She lifts them up with deceptively simple,
It's really pretty outside.
but remarkably profound
Yeah.
acts of kindness.
Have a good day, sweetie.
The idea began bubbling when the shy 10-year-old was looking for something to call her own.
When I was younger, I didn't really have any hobbies, and it was kind of difficult to make friends when you don't have any hobbies, you don't go out, and you're not really good at anything. So, you know, kindness was my hobby.
When we first met her 4 years ago, Ruby liked going to work with her mom. Amanda is a nurse who travels to several nursing homes in the area. And it was on one of those visits that Ruby started going up to residents with her notepad.
If you could have any 3 things, what would they be? What would you want?
She came up with this idea, these questions?
Yes.
With the intention of what?
I don't think she had an intention, really.
Ruby told us she was simply curious what the seniors would say.
Were you surprised?
Yes, I was very surprised. I thought people would say like money, houses, Lamborghini.
But instead, here's what she got. Electric razor, new shoes, Vienna sausage. For some reason, a lot of people asked for Vienna sausage and other really basic items.
Like that's all they wanted. And I really decided that I needed to do something.
So she started 3 wishes for Ruby's residents.
I'm gonna sit right beside you.
While her mom was caring for patients,
Cheese.
Ruby went room to room.
I love cheese.
I do too.
jotting down wishes,
Avocados.
and then setting out to grant those wishes.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. It really lifts you. It really does.
On this day, she came back with a wheelchair full of sausages and other grocery items.
Watermelon and oranges.
But behind it, that fundamental connection she has.
It's okay.
Thank you so much.
I mean, they were my age 60 years ago. There's no exactly difference.
You know, you could change the world. Have you thought about that?
Yes. It's like in a lot chance. But I would like just to inspire people.
Is there any secret to being 102?
I watched my weight. I watched my kind of diet.
Ruby's inspiration, her gift, has become a national movement to make wishes come true for seniors she feels have been neglected for far too long.
At first, we were just in Harrison, and it was just a little small thing. We went to 5 nursing homes, and now we serve hundreds of nursing homes, and every year we give out thousands of wishes.
Besides 3 Wishes in Arkansas, a nonprofit run by Amanda and Ruby, there are now programs for kids to visit nursing homes in more than 40 states. There are also programs to send letters to seniors and bring them cats who need homes. Ruby loves cats.
Other people have seen what she's done and has mimicked that in so many different ways. We've had people in New York City that gift different nursing homes, and folks from Gander, Newfoundland did some wishes out there. And so when they see Ruby doing that, I think a light bulb kind of goes off like, oh, you know, I can do that too. And it's not really that hard.
At least it wasn't that hard till COVID hit. Ruby was shut out of nursing homes. It was tough on her and on her many old friends.
They're just locked in there. It's like a cage almost.
That's our little Miss Ruby.
I'll hold the door.
But Ruby waited it out, came back stronger than ever,
Thank you, God, for daily bread.
and has now gained international attention.
I have the Princess Diana Award, which is probably my biggest award yet. This is a certificate of recognition.
In her bedroom, a wall of awards. But accolades aside, what still brings Ruby and the seniors the most joy is that human touch.
Hey.
Hey.
How have you been?
All right, how you?
I'm good. Let me give you a hug.
She just glows. Just first time I ever laid eyes on her, she was just, you know, sparkling all over with love.
I've been going there my entire life. I grew up with them. They watched me grow up. They're just such great people. They have so much history behind them and so much knowledge and power.
Whether she realizes it or not, Ruby is sending a message other kids are hearing, that to be remembered, to be cherished, especially by a child, is what our seniors are truly hungry for. And that is what Ruby brings every time she sets foot in a nursing home.
As we've seen, when a single act of kindness goes viral, it can have a ripple effect. So we're hoping to start a wave right now. Sometime this week, do an act of kindness and post a picture or video using the hashtag #KindnessGoesViral. And let's see what we can do together.
Here, that's for you.
Thank you.
Here's another one. Now, let me tell you what that other one's for. Because you got to pass the kindness on, right?
Yes.
Well, that's the best gift I can give you right
Thank
there.
you so much.
This building would surely be enshrined if there were national monuments devoted to the history of kindness. It was here that a holiday legend was born.
Hey, who's the chef? That be you? Let me ask you a question. You ever heard of Secret Santa?
I have.
So, you ever met him?
I think so.
That's for you.
Thank you.
Merry
Oh,
Merry-
thank you.
Merry- We ready?
For more than a decade, I followed Secret Santa.
Grab that.
Watched as he handed out thousands of $100 bills to lucky strangers all across the country.
And this is to make your Christmas just a little bit brighter. Can you do that?
This year, we went back to Houston, Mississippi with the man in the red hat to trace the story of where this all began.
After you.
All right.
Not with him, but with a homeless man. It was 1971. The man had fallen on hard times and was living out of his car. He'd run out of gas and was starving, which is why he wandered into the Dixie Diner.
That is a picture of Dad out in front of the Dixie Diner.
The owner of the diner was Ted Horn.
He was just a wonderful guy, always kind and generous.
Sandra and David are Ted's children. Their dad died in 2009.
He loved people, had empathy for anyone, especially those that were in need.
That morning, Ted watched as the man ordered the biggest breakfast on the menu and was obviously preparing to dine and dash.
But Ted Horn was no easy mark. He knew what was about to happen. So he snuck up behind the guy and bent to the floor with a $20 bill in his hand and said, "I think you dropped this." The homeless man thought, my lucky day. Paid for his breakfast, used the change to put gas in his car, and got the heck out of Houston. And as he was driving away, it hit him. There was no $20 on the floor. That was an act of kindness, cleverly designed to preserve his dignity. The homeless man was overcome with emotion and vowed right then and there, if he ever became rich, he would pay it forward in spades. And he did.
The man's name was Larry Stewart, and he went on to make millions in the cable TV business. But he never forgot that act of kindness. He went on to become the original Secret Santa, anonymously handing out $100 bills to random strangers.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
In 1999, more than 20 years after that day in the diner, Larry returned to Mississippi.
And he walked in and he said, "I'm looking for Ted Horn."
He handed Ted 100 $100 bills, $10,000 total. Ted's kindness had boomeranged right back to him.
They both just sat there and held one another's hand and cried for the first few minutes, wept, just overwhelmed with emotion.
In his lifetime, Larry Stewart, the original Secret Santa, gave away about $1.5 million to people in need. He died in 2007, but not before revealing his true identity and recruiting another wealthy businessman to take his place.
You ever heard of Secret Santa?
Secret Santa remains anonymous.
Good thinking. Okay.
But I can tell you he's from Kansas City, Missouri.
I love you. I love you, see you, buddy. Okay.
And so far, he's given away about $1 million.
For you.
And counting.
And for you. Initially, the joy is just the joy of giving, right? But over time, the joy really comes from seeing others do the same thing. Here, that's for you.
Thank you.
Here's another one. Well, let me tell you what that other one's for. Because you got to pass the kindness on, right? Well, that's the best gift I can give you right there.
Thank you so much.
You got to pass the kindness on. You got to pass the kindness on. You can do that, can't you?
Yes, sir.
Just this month, the town of Houston, Mississippi, where it all started,
Santa!
honored Secret Santa with his own float in their annual Christmas parade.
Thank you.
And to think all those good deeds, all those hundreds, all that kindness, all because a man in a diner gave someone a meal.
Any idea of how many random acts of kindness have been inspired over the years by Secret Santa?
I would like to think millions. That one act of kindness by a gentleman named Ted Horn, that $20 has multiplied into millions.
Now that's a breakfast well spent. Back now to MIT engineering and mathematics professor Peko Hosoi, who has been busy working on our kindness formula. Earlier, I had asked Professor Hosoi if it was possible to change the world with a single good deed. And she came back with a blueprint for infecting the entire planet with kindness. An equation that begins with a single heart and ends with infinite joy.
Now it becomes a probability question. What is the probability that this person will pass it along, and how many people are they likely to pass it along to? And I'm going to sum from 1 to n, where n is the number of people here, and I'm going to put a little subscript on here. This is ni, that's this row, and I want to know what happens on the next one, so this is ni plus 1. Okay, and for each of these people, I'm going to roll a dice and see, are they a person who does 0 acts of kindness? Are they a person who does 5 acts of kindness? Or are they a person who does 14 acts of kindness? Okay. If this quantity is small, then these people are only propagating a little bit of kindness and this number is going to go down. If this number is big, then everybody is propagating a lot of kindness and this number will go up.
And so this is the formula, really, for restoring faith in humanity.
This is the formula for restoring faith in humanity.
According to her calculations, we can make kindness go viral if every time someone does something nice for us, we do more than one nice thing for someone else. Any number more than one, and kindness becomes unstoppable.
A little extra. Just do a little extra.
And that puts us over the edge?
And that puts us over the edge.
That changes the planet?
Changes the planet.
That gives me goosebumps.
And I think if people understand that you don't have to do a heavy lift. You have to do a little bit of a lift, but it's not a heavy. If everybody does it, it's a small lift for everyone.
Problem solved.
This is going to win you a Nobel Peace Prize.
I hope so.
Yeah.
My mom got divorced when I was only 4.
I'll see you tomorrow.
He's the father that I always wanted.
If you're a student in the Richardson School District near Dallas, there's almost no avoiding Curtis Jenkins.
So y'all got a big class?
Not that anyone would ever want to avoid Curtis Jenkins.
You know she's doing her best.
Quite to the contrary.
It's gonna be all right. When I meet the children, I let them know I'm the safe person to talk to. Create that safe zone.
Curtis Jenkins is the man. I'd call him like our district's ambassador.
All right, see y'all later, okay? Y'all have a good day, okay?
He engages them in a way that they feel comfortable.
School's actually going pretty good this year.
I love meeting new kids every year because of that's another child, another life I can change.
Curtis Jenkins meets with new students, students at risk, or just a student in need of a friend. Changing lives, not with a single act of kindness, but with lots of little ones sprinkled throughout his day.
I'm comfortable with her.
When we first met Curtis in 2018, he was a school bus driver delivering little ones to Lake Highlands Elementary. It's a challenging job that some might hate. The early hours, when the weather sours, the abundance of responsibility combined with the absence of eyes in the back of your head.
Y'all have a good day.
But Curtis loved his job.
Really?
Just ask Emily Grunninger, Lake Highlands principal.
He goes way beyond the outlined responsibilities and duties of a bus driver. I mean, that bus is like a family.
These are my children. These are my community. I love them all.
To establish community,
What's your job, man?
he would give everyone responsibility
This is one of the police officers.
with an elaborate flowchart.
She's administrative assistant to the president.
Administrative assistant to
Yeah,
the
she's,
president.
yeah.
Everyone working together to build a yellow bus utopia.
And we're gonna care about each other and we're gonna love everybody, right? I put time, effort, love, care, understanding each and every one of those kids. Omar.
To show his love and understanding,
Hey, Chief.
Curtis gave presents throughout the year.
You say you like baseball.
Each one personally selected with that child in mind. He gave this girl a t-shirt
Her first book.
with a picture from a book she made.
I'm hoping this t-shirt inspire her to keep on writing books.
And he helps anyone in need.
Ethan Engel was a 5th grader at the time.
It means a lot to you.
Yeah.
He said the bus ride was often the best part of his day.
My mom got divorced when I was only 4.
See you tomorrow.
He's the father that I always wanted. In some ways, I wish my dad could have been like that.
We make the mistake sometimes of thinking certain jobs are more important than others.
I know.
But Curtis Jenkins made his job important. And in doing so, even created his own salary.
That's the paycheck right there. If I can get that, you can keep the money.
After we first told this story, Curtis got a promotion.
You know, you provide sort of like a buddy system for our at-risk students.
To relationship expert for the district. He now talks to teachers and administrators, helping them give the same love and care he did as a bus driver.
How you doing?
While still keeping his own connection with the kids.
What's up, man? What's up with you, man?
Ethan Engel is now a freshman in high school.
Most people, would, like if they're a school person, they wouldn't just keep in contact most of the time. He is different. He will keep in contact with you.
Curtis also gives motivational speeches for other districts across Texas and the country. Curtis Jenkins' message of kindness
How you doing?
has gone viral.
It is my esteemed honor.
There have been awards.
This is different from looking at the kids on my bus.
Letters from around the world.
I'm from New Zealand.
I'm from South Africa.
I'm from Lebanon.
I just want to thank you, Curtis.
And people who just want to meet the man whose kindness has extended well beyond the bumpers of his little yellow bus to all the riders on this big blue planet.
I know I'm planting a seed for the future. I'm planting in the world in which it's caught on all over. Kindness, love, respect. Simple, simple, simple.
Christine and I know that we can never pay back the gift that was given to us, but we've decided that we're going to spend the rest of our lives trying.
It was a dark and stormless night. The heavens were bright for the taking, and a little girl was about to collect the wonder.
It's very pretty. It's almost like a bunch of diamonds just hanging up there.
12-year-old Lizzie Myers says she has been dazzled by the stars for as long as she can remember. But she'd never seen the night sky through a high-powered telescope. Luckily, her hometown of Mansfield, Ohio is not far from an observatory, so her parents set up a private viewing. An astronomer at the observatory found out about it and tipped off a local news reporter.
And he told me that she had this rare genetic condition that could potentially rob her of eyesight, and that's why this was such a big deal.
Caitlin Durbin, who was a crime reporter for the Mansfield News Journal, didn't want to do the story.
I was so tired that day, and it was late. I was doing midnight drug raids with the police department.
But at the last minute, Caitlin did go that night, and that decision would change everything. She met Lizzie, who was 5 at the time, and Lizzie's parents, Steve and Christine. They explained how their daughter had just been diagnosed with a condition called Usher syndrome type 2A, and how Lizzie could soon lose her eyesight because of it.
I mean, it's just absolutely devastating. We didn't know what to do.
I see a mountain.
Once we kind of went through like the initial grieving process, then it was more, okay, so this is life-altering. It's not life-threatening. What can we do now?
Oh my God.
They had to do something. They couldn't just wait for Lizzie's future to disappear into darkness. So Steve and Christine drew up what they called a visual bucket list, a list of awe-inspiring sights for Lizzie to see. The Smoky Mountains, the Grand Canyon, sunrises. But at the top of the list was the moon.
It looks different through a telescope than it does to the naked eye.
Yeah, you could actually see a little bit of the details of the craters.
It's a moment that would have faded with the morning sun if that reporter hadn't decided to go the extra mile. Caitlin's story appeared on the front page, and like a pebble in a pond, it immediately started rippling.
I started getting a lot of phone calls from the community, just who fell in love with Lizzie and who wouldn't.
People volunteering to help fill Lizzie's visual bucket list, including an offer to send the family to Rome, all expenses paid, a gift they will never forget.
To have the Pope bless her eyes, we received something that was beyond anything that money can buy.
Caitlin's article also sparked something else remarkable. Lizzie's parents created the Visual Bucket List Foundation, a way to pass on the kindness to others.
My mom and dad started a nonprofit called the Visual Bucket List Foundation.
What it is like Make-A-Wish for kids that are losing their vision.
My turn.
9-year-old Layla Gonzalez, who has already lost vision in one eye, wanted to see a cheetah up close. The Visual Bucket List Foundation helped make her wish come true.
Just to be that close to a cheetah, her favorite animal, was just amazing to see her expression on her face.
And we send the entire family because when their vision starts to go, they will have the family there be like, well, remember the color of the giraffe that you saw? That's the color, you know, like they will be there to support and have those same memories.
As for Lizzie, so far her eyesight hasn't worsened. But to prepare for her likely future, she's now learning to read Braille. And of course, she's also soaking up the flowers, bees and butterflies, and any other wonders that await.
Over here I have my strawberries.
Thanks, at least in part, to a reporter who made time to make a difference.
When you think of a ripple effect, it has two components. It has a flat surface, a flat, calm water, and it has a pebble, right? And so I see myself as the water, and the only thing that I have to do is to accept the pebble.
Try that.
Have you ever had a fried green tomato? And they have to cast it. So they did all the work. They took all the risk.
Christine and I know that we can never pay back the gift that was given to us, but we've decided that we're going to spend the rest of our lives trying.
And that's how it goes viral. That one act of kindness that she did, you know, is going to mushroom into tens of thousands of acts of kindness.
That's the hope.
Yep.
Yes.
Is there something you think you'll be able to see forever, no matter what happens to your eyesight? You'll just always have that image in your head.
My family. They've always been there. No matter what has happened, they've always stood by my side.
Proof that love is both blind and brilliant.
Tonight, we met some extraordinary Americans. Extraordinary, but also ordinary. Fact is, any one of you watching could have starred in any one of these stories. And it is my hope that one day you will. I mean, who knows? Maybe tomorrow you'll help a stranger, right or wrong, hold a fundraiser, or just hold a door. And maybe, just maybe, it won't stop there. I'm Steve Hartman. Good night. You want a hot dog?
I love a hot dog.
Okay, you're gonna get a hot dog? Great.
Yeah.
You know there's a catch.
What's the catch?
You have to do something kind for somebody else. Get the man a hot dog. If you promise not to hit me with that, I will buy you something from this hot dog stand.
I promise.
And you have to promise to do something kind for somebody else. You'll do that? I'll buy your Coke.
Right.
If you do something kind for somebody else.
Okay.
I will buy you your hot dog. Under one condition. You do something kind for somebody else. We're kind of hoping that by, you know, doing something kind, that maybe then you guys pass it on to somebody else. That's my dream. You can do that for me?
Absolutely.
You will?